Hello. What's up? So, today I want to do some edits on my Magic decks. Uh, the one that I've been working on lately is Tayam, and here's the thing, right? I don't like my deck being too reliant on the commander, unless it's reasonable, right? Tayam, if you don't know what Tayam does, hold on, is there a better way to do this? And there we go. So this is the commander. So the problem with focusing too hard on him is his effect is really good, but there are a few problems. One, he has no built-in protection. Two, he costs 4 mana. 3, he's only a 3/3. 4, he requires a few things for him to work consistently. That's going to be counters on your creatures. It needs 3 mana to do his effect. So, focusing too hard on him really stretches you very thin, and he's very vulnerable. But he's good. So, my current iteration of the deck, which I don't have online because I've been messing with it, but the one I have in paper basically became a combo deck where it's just like, we're just going to set up some protection, drop Tayam, pull out a combo, and win. And if you don't get that set up, the deck kind of doesn't do anything. So, my next idea is we're going to create basically just an Obzon +1 counters deck, 2 phases, and an optional 3rd phase. So first phase is just play without Tayam, generally. I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit. Play without Tayam, and then build up a good board where creatures are entering with +1 counters. We've got a good amount of counters going. And then, once we have a strong board state, we play Tayam, use his abilities, and then we just start steamrolling, building the board higher and higher. And that's phase 2. So don't have to worry about getting Tayam on the board early. Now the optional phase 3 is a rebuild phase, right? So we had a strong board, but now everything's in the graveyard. So then we play Tayam, and we rebuild from the graveyard we have. So he's going to basically be rather than an enabler, he's going to be more of a finisher / rebuild tool. That way we don't have to rely on him for winning. We can win without him. So, that has led me to this current deck list here, which is close to being good, but it needs tweaked. And there's a couple other iterations I'm going to try today. So this is number 1. This one is really just +1 counters, with a few combo pieces and some protection. And then you can see here in my considering, I have 213 cards. So that's going to be because I have like maybe a token variation we could do, and then just cards in general that I think are cool. I really wish these didn't have only full art versions. I mean, it's cool, but I'd like a regular card, please. So yeah. So we're gonna play test it. So I've played test this version quite a few times, but I'm still kind of getting a feel for it. Let me show you what it is like. I don't know where the best spot for this is going to be. It's probably going to be up here. Okay. It's only 2 lands in my hand, but it's a pretty good hand otherwise. I think I'll keep it. And draw for turn. Okay, that's a W. I'll just drop that. Next turn. Okay. 2 or more other. Okay, I think we probably want to drop... Well, we do need 2 green for Lamholt. I'm going to drop this flipped. Oh, I thought it flipped to black. Never mind. We're not doing that. So we'll do a Biophagus. Okay. I guess we drop Lamholt. Seems like the play. And we'll use Biophagus for it. So it enters with a +1. And now we can think about setting up pretty strong engine here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can do both. So I'm just gonna drop. Don't do that. Do that. We drop Luris. Enter with a +1 counter, and I get a +1 counter. And then we're gonna tutor. So I've still not really decided what the play is when it comes to tutors. Right, like Incubation Druid is pretty big, especially when we can have it enter with a +1 counter. But it currently can't tap the turn it comes in. So actually, what's the mana cost for 1,000-year elixir? It's like 4, 5, isn't it? Oh no, it's 3? Oh shit. That might be going in the deck. Because we have a lot of good tap effects in the deck. Like a lot. So yeah, that might be the play in the future, but... So Weaponcraft Enthusiast is a really strong card. Because it kind of combos out with Ashnod's Altar and Tayam. Good Fortune Unicorn is a really good combo piece. Obviously we can just do something like Necropotence. But I think the play is going to be... Especially with our current board state, I think it's going to be Arwen. Is that her name? Yeah, Arwen. Arwen is an absolute fucking gamer in this deck. Okay, so on this turn, what we're going to do is we're going to drop, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I don't really want to drop a defense grid right now. I mean, it's not that bad. Because we're not running interaction. We don't have any interaction in our hand, so it doesn't really matter. But we're not comboing, so... so let's do... Arwen. She's going to enter with a +1. That's going to get a +1. And then... We don't have anything to bring back, so I mean, we would just swing on this turn. Because, I mean, she's a 4/4 that can't be blocked with anything less than 4. So she's probably going to, connect. Now, this is going to be a pretty strong turn. Because we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Tayam. is going to give that a counter. And then this is going to get a counter. 2 counters, actually. And now the turn it comes in, we can actually activate it. So, remove those. Just remove it off of Luris. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got a weapon craft enthusiast. That's pretty big. I don't think there's anything else we would do. The only other thing would be a land, which honestly wouldn't be that bad. It really wouldn't be that bad. But I'm going to have him enter with servos because of Arwen. And this kind of pops off a little bit. So he's going to enter with 2 counters. Actually, so he's going to have 2 +1 counters, but also a vigilance counter. But this doesn't... Oh, there we go. Vigilance counter. Okay. It's going to be 2 of those, 2 of those. And they're going to have vigilance counters. I'm sure there's a shortcut for vigilance counters. It also doesn't let you put more than 1 on it, which is odd, because it's just a toggle. Anyway, Arwen, she doesn't get anything, but this one's going to get, yeah, it's going to get 3 counters, 1, 2, 3, and then we have an 8/8, basically unblockable at this point. So now we kind of just go ham. I think at this point we would probably want to drop a defense grid, so we might combo off this turn. And then we can do that. We would just get rid of its vigilance counter. We'll do it. 1, 2, 3 counters. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sure, we'll play him. Actually, do we want him? Might not want him. Because, well, he is good. I might just want lands to keep comboing. Because I can get any land out, right? But, return a permanent with mana cost 3 or less. Yeah, so I can get a land out. So I think that's what I'd do here, because we can't tap him. So we'll drop this. And then we would do it again. Take all of their counters off. 1, 2, 3. Not getting anything good. I'll be real with you. So we're not going to be able to do any more, even if we get a land out. So I'm just going to drop him this time. It's going to enter with 2 counters, and then a vigilance counter. And this one's going to get a counter. That's now a 9/9. And then I'll play this, and we'll play Spore Frog with Luris, getting 2 counters. I mean, I'm happy with this board state, right? You could keep doing this, right? But, or keep playing this out, but, you know, at this point, it's pretty inaccurate of what would happen in a real game, because at this point, you're not going to have this board state for long, unless you win. So yeah, I'll go to about turn 7, 8, see what the board state looks like, and I'd say this is a great one. And let's do one more run through, and then let's kind of consider some changes. So that's going to be a mulligan right there. Another mulligan. Let me right click mulligan. Nope. Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess we keep it. Actually, no, we don't keep it. we can't play our 2-drop. You know what? Fuck it. We'll keep it. W. So we'll play this into this. And then I mill 3, and I can put a land from those into my hand. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that was a really good one. So we'll put Temple Garden in our hand. Yeah, we definitely don't play this yet. We're gonna drop our Incubation Druid soon. Very, very soon. So we'll do... Or no, we do drop our Incubation Druid now. No, that is the play. Oh, but we do have Lightning Greaves. I do have 2 green. Let's do this. We're gonna drop this instead. And now, we got 4 mana. We'll do 1, 2 for Lightning Greaves. 1, 2 for Incubation Druid. Equip. Oh, it gives it Shroud though, so that doesn't really work. Oh well, fuck it. I mean, we'll equip it for now, but it's got to come off. I don't think I have anything else to do with that extra mana I have though from it, so. So now what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna tap out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to enter with 3, 4 counters. And then we're going to give it haste, so it can donate a counter to that. But then it's going to get increased twice by that, so it's going to go to 3 counters. And now we can swap that over. And remove a counter. So this has Shroud, and then we can tap it for 3. Is it 3 of any one color? Okay, yeah, it's going to be 1 color. So I guess we'll just do Tribute to the World Tree. And then Tyvar is going to be a huge gamer right now. So for 3, am I retarded? For 3, we'll play Tyvar. And then we're going to do, I'm going to +1 him. Tap this for 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to play Tayam. So we have 2 floating. We're going to do... I'm going to donate a token. Do... Oh, actually, we draw a card for power 3, so we're going to draw a card here. And I'm going to donate a token to him just to make him a little stronger for protection. 1, and that's going to get increased to 3. And then we're going to do... Still got the 2 floating. And we'll do the untap, tap it, go up to 5 mana. Subtract down to 3. Down to 2. 1, 2, 3. Bring something back. I don't have anything that I can bring back. Oh, no, I do, actually. Yeah. Ooh, that's big. So we'll bring back Luris. Okay, we draw a card. I don't have anything that makes it enter with +1 counters, but it does enter with a vigilance counter. And now with one of our floating mana, we're going to bring back with Luris Soul Ring, tap it, go up to 3 mana. Now we activate Tayam. We'll take his vigilance counter, and then we'll take 2 counters off of Tayam. Well, actually 1 plus... Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I saw a safe hold elite. So now all we need is a sacrifice outlet. Oh no, we don't have anything that gives it +1s when it enters. Oh, we do though. No, we have Tribute to the World Tree. So yeah, sacrifice outlet and we win the game. But I don't have one. So then we just bring back Branching Evolution. And that's the turn. We're at turn 7, and I say this is a pretty strong board state. I like it. So, now, what I'm going to do is I want to try an iteration of this with... Do I even want to try a token version? Because the idea behind the token version is that we can lean into, like, sacrifice effects. So when we sacrifice a creature for... so we can do... We can bring in a lot of, like, reanimation and sacrifice stuff. And we have a lot of fodder to sacrifice, but I don't even think that's worth it. If I'm going to be real with you. So... I think if anything, we put mill in the deck. Get more stuff in the graveyard. And like as far as reanimate spells, we've got 2 that are permanents. So like those can be brought back. Animate Dead can be brought back with Luris. That's something. Reanimate. You know, that's big. But I'll be real with you, I don't know if... Unless we're using them to combo... I don't even know if it's worth having them in the deck, because everything's so cheap anyway. We don't have Relic Warder in the deck, so Necromancy loses a lot of value, not being able to combo with Relic Warder. But do we have anything that even because we don't have anything that benefits from infinite ETBs. We can put cards in there, but then they're really only going to be there for the sake of Relic Warder. So I don't think it's really worth it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We need to make some special tags here. So we need to put things that are absolute gamers in the deck into one tag, and then things that we might actually take out into another tag. So this is a gamer for sure. So he'll be the first one in hashtag gamers. So that's a gamer for sure. This is a gamer. That's a gamer. Gamer. Believe it or not, gamer. Anything that's going to put stuff on creatures when they enter is pretty big. And then I need to get rid of... Let's do a tag for things that I'm like, you know, I've used it some, but not great. So I gotta find those. I kind of feel like maybe this guy. But maybe not. He's pretty cheap, and he has trample. For the most part, I think a lot of these are really good. I'm pretty happy with these. This one is one that I'm kind of like, It's good to have the removal, but it's not instant speed. And then otherwise, it's just going to enter with 2+1s, which is nice. And I suppose it doesn't exactly combo. It doesn't. It kind of. I mean, it synergizes with Tayam for sure. Honestly, is there anything in the deck that I'm like not super sold on? I guess maybe Defense Grid. I still kind of like it. I'm real with you. I think I like all of them. But we do need to remove stuff. I think it might be better. Yeah, let's do this. I think it's going to be better. Let me edit my tags. How do I get rid of this tag in general? I guess just kick everything out of it, and then it doesn't exist, right? So I'm going to just add in the things that I want, and then that'll make it easier to decide what needs to come out. Oh, fuck. So let's look at our counts. So we got 6 tutors, 3 sacrifice outlets. We've got 8 pieces of removal. Pretty much all instant speed. Except for one. And this one doubles as a draw. Got 9 pieces of recursion. I think maybe that might be an area where we don't... I'm going to be real with you. I think ramp and draw probably the areas that we could see the most benefit from increasing. So let's just see what we got here. I need to actually add tags to a bunch of stuff. So this one is a potential combo piece, but... So, placed in permanent control, you may pay 1 if you do create a servo artifact. So the idea on this one, right, is you get something that puts +1 counters on a creature when it enters. So the creature enters, you put a +1 counter on it, and then you have Ashnod's Altar, right? Another token enters, because you're going to sacrifice the first one for 2 mana with this on the stack, and you pay the 1 from that, and then another one enters, right? Triggers it again, you sacrifice it for 2, pay 1. That's infinite mana, and then you get infinite tokens. So, I mean, that's pretty good. So this is going to be under, not necessarily proliferate. I mean, it can proliferate, but it's just going to be tokens, I guess. This one, that's just like a toolbox kind of thing. I mean, it's really good. I don't know if it's like something I want to put in the deck at fucking $40. This one, whenever equipped creature attacks, put a +1 on each creature you control. If you have the city's blessing, put 2. It's going to be 5 on the turn it comes in, and then you double everything, and it can be recurred from your graveyard. Maybe. Just a little expensive. Let's put that under counters. Power Fist is really good, because it's only 4. And you can essentially double the counters on a creature when it hits a player. And it also gives them trample. So that's really good. And then this gets a +1 when it attacks, when it deals damage. And it just deals any combat damage. You do a d12. If the result is greater than the damage dealt, or the result, double the +1 counters. That's pretty good. It's recurable. Everything on my maybe list is basically recurable by Tayam. Fractal Harness. I mean, that's another basically 5 mana, and then attacked double +1 counters. It's not bad. Was that what we want? I don't know. Exile a creature with mana value X from a graveyard. Create 0/0 blue fractal creature token and put +1 counters on it. I mean, that's pretty nice if you think about it, because you just have that on the battlefield, and if there's nothing you want to play necessarily, or you just need something with counters, you can just exile a creature from someone's grave, and then you just get a creature. And it gives you some, sacrifice fodder too if you need it. Cryptic Trilobite enters with X counters, remove a counter from it, add that. Okay, this could combo out. So, hear me out. If you have it in your graveyard, right, you recur it with Tayam, 3, and then you have it set up to where it enters with at least 2 +1 counters. So, Arwen or Good Fortune Unicorn, just any situation where you can have it enter with 2 +1 counters, and then you remove 2 +1 counters from it to get 4 mana, and then and it also allows you to tap it, but this thing's really good, basically, is what I'm saying. And you'd get infinite sacrifices with it. Could definitely be a combo piece. And outside of being a combo piece, it actually is pretty good in general, because it turns 1 mana into 2 when you're using that mana to activate abilities, which this deck does. So the main thing with this card, my thought is again, if you resurrect it with Tayam, if anything, if anything puts counters on it, right, then it'll come in and survive, and you can kill it, and then you manifest off up the top of your library, and then that's pretty nice. But it's kind of hard to say, so I'm going to say this is kind of draw. It's kind of draw. Most things in my deck are permanent, so you would be able to flip them, but Goldvein Hydra is another one where, you can recur it if you want. And it would go infinite technically, if you have it enter with 3 +1 counters. And you no, you don't even have to have 3. You could actually have it come in with just 1. Sacrifice it to Ashnod's for 2. It generates 1 treasure, and you pay 3, and you go again. So it's probably not going to go in the deck, but it does have some avenues. This one, I mean, it's interesting. Don't think it goes in the deck, but it's interesting. This one is just pay 4, put 2 +1 counters on a creature and draw a card. I mean, hey, if we're desperate to draw cards, that's nice. And it can be really big if we have doublers and stuff. Because paying 4 mana to pump a creature by 2 permanently is not bad. Especially when you draw a card on top of it. This one is actually really good, because it's very easy to make go infinite. Let me talk through it, because I may have been a little tired. Let me move my box over. So we're looking at this. So what it does, 1 and X with trample, that's a plus. It enters with X +1 counters on it. That doesn't matter too much, but so it has split. When it dies, if it had 2 or more +1 counters on it, create a token, that's a copy of it, at the beginning of the next end step. The token enters the battlefield with half that many +1 counters on it, rounded down. I got to think about timing, because it says at the beginning of the next end step. So you put 2, you pay 3, it comes in as a 2/2. You sacrifice it to an altar. It dies, and it's going to come back with 2 1/1s, but you're going to have something that, something that makes it enter with more than 1, either double or +1, so it'll enter with 2 2/2s at the beginning of the next end step. But then you sacrifice those during the end step. I don't think it would clean up. I mean, it's still good. I mean, it's not infinite, but I mean, that's really good, because 1 circle around the table, right? You play it on your turn, you sacrifice it. Then at the end of your turn, you get 2 2/2s. Then you wait for the next person's turn, you sacrifice those 2, and now you get 4 2/2s. And then 8, 16 on your turn. So one loop around the table, you get 16 tokens that are 2/2s. Now, they would be even bigger if you had anything else. So it's not an infinite because of timing, but it's still very good. So I'm going to do counters and tokens for the tags. This one is actually really good. So whenever I sack an artifact or creature, it gets a +1 counter. And then pay 3, sack a creature, gain life. So I can just pay 3, sack a creature. He gets a +1 or more because of the deck, and then I draw a card. That's pretty nice. So that's one of the things that I would put in the deck if I went a token route. And that's that's kind of what made me think maybe I should go a token route, because you're gonna get a lot more opportunities for like draw engines, ramp engines, stuff like that. So this one's nice because it's just anytime I put +1 counters on something else, it's gonna get a counter. It's gonna get multiplied. You know, looking for all this snowballing stuff. Giving everything first strike, I mean, that's just good. It also has Outlast, which is good. So this enters with +1 counter on it for each other creature I control with a +1 counter on it. So he's going to come in maybe with 2-3 counters. He's recurable. He's good, you know, but I'm not going to really worry about these guys because they're not out yet. Well, I mean, they're going to come out soon. So permanents you control have, whenever one or more +1 counters are put on this permanent, put an additional on it, trigger only once each turn. Yeah, I mean, it's weaker than the other ones, but it's something, right? And a lot of times, you know, you're only going to trigger those once for a creature anyway, so it kind of works. This guy, he doesn't do a lot, but he's got Vigilance, so we can attack and keep him as a blocker. He enters automatically with 3 +1 counters, so any double, and he's a 2-drop, right? So anything that, so it could be a 4/4, and if we have a doubler or other things, he could enter as a 6/6 with Vigilance. I mean, he's very vanilla, but he gets the job done. He get the job done. Counters. So this one's cool because it's just going to be whenever, you know, a land enters, gets a +1 counter. And then you make one creature bigger, and then if that creature dies, he drops to the battlefield, and now he's a creature. Not a big fan of it being tied to lands entering, but, I mean, we can trigger landfall off of Tayam, right? Tayam can bring back land, so if we needed to, we could do that. And if we put in things like Aftermath Analyst, that might actually trigger a lot, so Gyre Sage, I mean, I think he just goes in the deck. He's gonna be strong. We're already looking at enabling our tap guys a little more with what's it called? 1,000-Year Elixir. So I'm pretty sure I already own one, so that's a W. This could combo, right? So you could do When it's got morph, you can play it as a 2/2 for 3. Is that right? MTG morph. Is it a 2/2 for 3 or a 2/2 for 2? Okay, so it's for 3. But either way, let's say we play it, and it enters with 2+1 counters from other things. Sack it to Ashnod's Altar. Get 2 mana, and then you're going to get the tokens. You're going to get 2 tokens. Each of those tokens are going to enter with 2+1 counters. Then you sacrifice one of those for 4 mana. And you suck up some tokens. Yeah. No, that would combo. Whenever opponent gains life, put that many +1 counters on him. I mean, you know, that's just... If I ended up in a meta where a lot of people are playing life gain... And actually, wait, did it say put that many? So if it's that many, that's even better. I think it is. I think that's the whole reason I put it in here. So, something Kavu. Yeah, it says put that many. Holy shit. That's really good. Neverwinter Hydra enters... Roll X d6s. It enters with a number of +1 counters on it equal to the total of those results. Trample and Ward 4. So the Ward 4 and Trample really big. But you do have to pay 4 to get... I don't think this is something I would put in the deck. It's cool, though. This might definitely go in the deck. Or you proliferate. So... Then again, the proliferate... might be a little more than we even... I don't know. I don't know if proliferate's really something we necessarily want in the deck. It's a little more valuable if it's something that comes in and adds counters rather than giving them more counters. Because adding counters is a little more important because this deck also removes them. So, I don't know. Then you have to keep double his +1 counters. Has trample if he has 10 or more. It's a pretty basic card. Probably wouldn't go in the deck, but maybe. So whenever I cast a creature, put a +1 counter on it. So, I mean, that's similar, right, to Champion of Lamholt, except this is cast, so it doesn't trigger on me bringing a creature back with Tayam, but we're still casting plenty of creatures. When he dies, I distribute +1 counters among any number of creatures I control, where X is the number of +1 counters on it. It's just when it dies, I get to move its counters around. I mean, I think it's good. And the nice thing is that if it dies and it distributes those counters, if we have something that increases that effect, right, that's when it gets kind of crazy. So this is cool because I can put a +1 counter on each creature that enters the battlefield under my control this turn. So I do it at the end of my turn, and that can generate a lot of counters. But then it also gives me the option of playing it as a flip, which is... yeah, whenever a creature I control with a +1 counter on it dies, I draw a card. I would play something like this in a token version of the deck. Probably not the current version. I think in a token version, you would definitely play this. I mean, it's Skullbriar. Is he worth putting in the deck? I mean, he has haste. So if you bring him back with Tayam, you know, that would be good. So it enters the battlefield. Each opponent creates a 1/1 human. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1 counter on it. Yeah, I mean, 2 cost 3/3 is already good. And just because they get a 1/1, I don't fucking care, right? Just gives them more things to have die. Whenever one more tokens into the battlefield, you're going to put that many +1 counters on Woodland Champion. Again, this is for a token version of the deck. One of my other creatures with base power access. Again, token version of the deck. This is okay, right? But it has to attack. It doesn't have haste. It doesn't have any evasion. The creature it puts the +1 counter on, it has to already have some modification. Probably not going to go in the deck, but this one's kind of nice. Because if I choose to put 2 +1 counters on a creature, it's at my end step, right? So this can come in and happen on my turn. I can pump something, right? And then have someone draw a card, and then someone get 2 treasure tokens. So I can get tokens, I can ramp, or draw a card. So it does everything that this deck wants, it's just I pick one, then my opponents get the others. So I think this is something that I would have to try in person, right? To figure out, is it worth doing that? I'm definitely willing to try it, though. Again, this is token version of the deck. Why would I change the mana cost? So this is counters and tokens. Whenever I draw my second card, each turn, he gets a +1 counter. When he dies, I return a creature card with mana value less than or equal to his power from my grave to the battlefield. So, I mean, he's just more recursion. Am I very often going to trigger his first ability? Probably not. There's a gnat on my mic. He just stood there while I squashed him. Fucking weirdo. So the main benefit of this is it's pretty easy for him to die with 3 power, and then everything in my deck costs 3 or less, so that's going to bring a creature back when he dies. I would say this would be better in a token version, because that one's going to focus more on sacrifice synergies, but yeah. Even then, I don't know. So he enters with 2 counters, and then menace on everything that has a +1 counter. I mean, that's pretty good, right? So he's a 2/2 with menace baseline. And then everything I have with a +1 counter on it is menace. That's going to be useful just when we're trying to swing in. So I will also give this toolbox, because it gives us some evasion. Whenever another... So, mainly the good part about this card is it has vigilance, so it can attack, and then it can also tap for mana. It might give itself +1 counters, probably not. But, you know, if we pump it, it's just going to give us more and more mana, so... It's going to be ramp counters. So it's probably going to go in the deck. So when he enters the battlefield, put a Vig counter on target non-human. Pay 2, put a +1 counter on each creature you control with vigilance. This might be really good, because Tayam... If Tayam's out, every creature entering is going to get a vigilance counter. And then I can pay 2, tap it, and put a +1 on everything that has a vigilance counter. But it is limited, and it's slow, so I would say probably not going to go in the deck, but has potential. When it is the battlefield, I put a +1 counter on him for each creature that left the battlefield on your control this turn. So that's just a good card to have for a board wipe, just hold it in your hand and then, drop it. Gets real big. It's got the utility of being able to exile a graveyard. 2 life scribe 2. I mean, it's something. And I would say this is removal as well. When Maga enters the battlefield, with X +1 counters on it. Comes into play, target player loses life equal to the number of +1 counters on it. I mean, that's a decent finisher for, if we have infinite mana, we can drop it and kill someone. I don't know. I don't really like it that much. But it could do stuff. So he enters with 4 counters. That's already really good. He attacks each combat if able. And if damage would be dealt to him, prevent it. I mean, he's just a beater. He could come back as an 8/8, or just cast him as an 8/8, right, if we have Branching Evolution. Orin Reef Ooze. Enters the battlefield, put a +1 counter on target creature I control. Whenever he attacks, I put a +1 counter on each attacking creature with a +1 counter on it. I think we probably do that. At the beginning of the upkeep, each player may put 2 counters on a creature they control. If the player does, they can't attack me. I think that probably goes in the deck. What do we call this? Stacks? I'd kind of call it stacks, right? They can't attack me. Stacks is usually slowing people down, but we'll call it stacks for now. So when they enter the battlefield, or another creature with power 3 or less enters the battlefield, they get a quest counter. And at the beginning of combat, I can remove 3 quest counters from it, and then put +1 counter on each creature I control, and they gain vigilance. Okay. Is that good? It takes a lot to... I think in a token version, maybe. Not the current one. Predator Ooze attacks, put a +1 on him, he's indestructible. And whenever a creature dealt damage by him dies, he gets another +1 counter. Maybe. So enters with 2. And whenever he attacks, I can remove a counter from him. If I do, I ramp. I'm kind of down with that. I kind of vibe with that one. Slime can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Creature an opponent controls would die. Exile it and put a number of +1 counters equal to that creature's power on Ravenous Slime. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. Just because it says it enters with... It gets that many, and not just 1 counter. Whenever I create a token, put a +1 counter on a target creature you control, other than her. So again, that would be for a token version. Sandstorm Salvager. So it enters, it gets a plus... I create a 3/3, can pay 2 and tap it, put a +1 on each creature I control. They can trample until end of turn. Oh, each token creature I control. So obviously, that's for the token version. This is just like a board wipe kind of guy. So, I mean, that's really all there is to it. Scurry Oak with Evolve. Whenever 1 more +1 counters are put on Scurry Oak, you may create a 1/1. So that would be If it said that many, I would put it in this version, but since it's just one, I would only put it in this version. Shambling Shell. Put a +1 counter on target creature, dredge 3. So the nice thing about this, right, is it's going to mill me if I need mill. And then play it, sack it, put a +1 counter on creature, dredge 3, mill 3. That's really all there is to it. It's always nice. Sheriff of Safe Passage. Enters with a +1 on it, plus an additional +1 for each other creature I control. And it has plot. The plot's nice. Because I can bank it, right? Play it for 2, and then just wait till I have a good amount of creatures, and then drop him. I think that's a pretty good utility card. And that lets me spend the mana to cast him. It's actually really good, right? Because I play him early for his plot, and then I set up the board with token doublers and stuff, and then I play him, and then he's gonna pop off, right? So I think he's really good. This is for a token version. I think I'm gonna try the token version, because after seeing all these cards, I'm just like, damn, there's some good synergy with tokens and +1s. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died, put a +1 counter on him, and he's indestructible with Shadow. So basically, he's unblockable. He's indestructible, and anytime a creature dies on a turn, he's going to get a +1 counter at the end of it. So, I mean, he's just good for combat focus, right? All there is to that. So enters with X +1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield, I create that many 1/1 green-white alien creatures. Whenever I attack with 1 or more insects, put a +1 counter on each of them. Probably not something I would use. It's cool though. Choose another creature, put +1 counters on it equal to the amount of life you gained this turn, or the amount of life you lost this turn, whichever is greater. Activate only as a sorcery. I don't do much of either. Though it is nice, right? Because I can have that on the battlefield, and if someone swings at me, I take damage, I just activate it and then put +1 counters on it. So, definitely something I could do. This one, so these guys are 4 mana, but that's because they're good. So this one is another, because I've found that any effect like this, like Arwen, where creatures enter with X equal to its power, or X the number of counters on it, is really good. And then this guy, whenever he enters battlefield attacks, target opponent loses X life and you gain X life, or X the number of +1 counters on it. I mean, yeah, that's just good. You just play it, put a bunch of counters on it, and then have it swing in, and someone just automatically loses a bunch of life, and I gain life. So basically, it kind of has double strike, but it's even better than, well, situationally better than double strike. So this is going to be counters and drain. This one is going to be just counters. So this one, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1 counter on that creature. Yeah, that's just good. Anything that lets me put more counters on creatures is good. Yeah, it costs 1 mana, but it's whatever. And this one is just, right, at the beginning of my upkeep, I get 3 +1 counters I control, and 3 on someone else's. So, fuck it, right? Typically, I'm going to benefit more from those counters than them, right? Because mine probably because I might be putting 4 or 6 or even more on my creatures. This is really good because just if Tayam is out, when this creature enters the battlefield and at the beginning of my upkeep, each player may put 2/+1 counters on a creature they control. Creature opponent does, right? A little bit of stacks. It generates me some counters. Well rested, very good. Anytime it's untapped, I draw a card, gain 2 life, and it gets 2/+1 counters. I mean, yeah, that's just really good. So that's counters, draw, and life gain. I think this is just hilarious because I can put it on a player, and then I can bring it back if that player dies or destroys it, and then everyone gets incentivized to pump their creatures by attacking that player. I like it. Yeah, this is just a really good ramp card because it comes in, and then a creature gets a +1 counter, and then it ramps me by 2. That's just really good. I think it definitely goes in the deck. This one just lets me double the +1 counters on a creature. Pretty nice. This is the same as that other one. It's actually the exact same. It's about to put +1 counter on target creature. You can do. The other one just lets you do it on vehicles as well, which doesn't matter in this case. So for me, it's literally the same thing. And it can be brought back by Tayam. So, big good. This one, maybe there's some ways to combo with it. I don't know. So, whenever I attack, put a +1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. So, what this allows me to do is it has learn. So that means I bring this in, and then I can reveal a lesson I own from outside the game and put it in my hand, or discard a card and draw a card. So pay 3, discard a card, draw a card. So it's basically a cantrip. And then whenever I attack, I put a +1 counter on target attacking creature and tap it. So it's pretty nice. It untaps creatures, which is good. Now, I don't know. Does lesson? Does that? Does this work in EDH? This will just function as a rummage. What's a rummage? Is that draw a card, discard a card? Yeah, discard and then draw. So, it's not amazing, but it's decent. So, it's going to be counters, and let's say toolbox because it does untap the creature, and then draw. And actually, it could be good discarding a card, right? Because we might want to reanimate it or something. So this is for the token version. So it comes in, create a white human creature, put 3 counters on target creature, power forward to draw 2 cards, ramp. So this is good. And honestly, this is good in any version. It's not great because if you play it late, it gets worse the later the game goes, but... So this gives you counters, it's ramp, it's draw, it's also tokens. So you can see it has the ability to be really good. This is nice because it's protection that I can recur. So this is counters, recursion, and technically protection. This is nice. I'm sure there's probably some way I can combo with it, but I don't know yet. So flying, double strike, tokens. So it's going to be counters and toolbox. You are, whenever one of our non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many tokens that are tapped and attacking. Put a +1 counter up to 1 time. So this would be for the token deck for sure. Creatures you control gain death touch. Put a +1 counter on up to 1 creature you control. And then -2 until end turn if 1 more tokens would be created and you control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. So again, this would probably be the token version. And then this is just recursion. Everything in my deck is already 3 or less, so why not? Okay, so there we go. Everything is tagged, and now we just pick the stuff that we really like and add it to the deck. So for Sarolf, whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, he gets a +1 counter. And then I can remove all of his stuff to exile each other non-land permanent with converting cost less than or equal to his shit. And he's recurable, so he's a recurable board wipe. It's gonna be a no from me, dog. This guy, he's really good. So I almost say he definitely goes in the deck. He can combo out, and if he's not comboing, he's just good utility. I think he straight up just goes in the fucking deck. He's actually probably from the Tayam deck anyway. This guy's probably a no. This one is a no. For the token one, maybe a yes, though. Chaos is nice, because you can just tap and put a +1 counter, and then remove 1, put 1 on everything. I think he's probably going to go in the deck. We'll put him in. We can decide later. So this is nice for card draw, but it is kind of pricey. It's good, but it is pricey. I don't know that we're really trying to ramp that hard. This one, pretty nice. I'd do that in the token version, not this one. I think this probably goes in. This guy, he's probably pretty good. This one, it's a little much, right? 5 mana. I mean, putting 2 +1 counters on each creature you control. I mean, that's pretty good to put it on everything you control. But again, 5 mana is pretty steep. I don't care about the Outlast that much. Five mana to double the +1 counters is really good. Because that's the thing, right? Like, this one says this is 5 mana, and you have to attack, and then you put a +1 on everything you control. If you have a setting blessing, 2. This one just says double. It's 5 and it's double. Technically it's 7, but then it's 5 after. So this one's definitely stronger. I don't think there's any question about that. I think this goes in the deck. No creature is about to put a +1 counter on that creature. Just because we have to pay 1 to get the counter, I would say no. This is nice. It does have to be at my upkeep, though, so probably not. This one, he's just a good combat dude, but, you know. Beginning of your step, if one or more creatures died, you gain that much life and distribute that many +1 counters. So this is at the end step, which is good, but I do have to... I mean, look, right? Like, if we have, like, a loop going, like a sacrifice loop, and then into my turn, that's literally infinite +1 counters on my creatures. And then infinite life. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I don't know. I'm more leaning... I don't want to fill my deck up with stuff that's like, if I do this, then it's going to be really good, right? I think this would be probably go into the token version, because I'm going to be sacrificing more, but... So bestow for 2, and then it gets a +1 counter whenever a land enters. Yeah. I think that goes on the deck. I'm not sold on Hooded Hydra yet. Let me think again. I don't know. So tokens have add mana. Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a token, then put a +1 counter on each plant you control. Obviously, in the token version, that's amazing. But I think it's good anyway. Because anytime I bring back a creature with Tayam, I'm going to get a plant, and that plant's going to get a +1, and then all my plants get a +1 counter. So I really like Insidious Roots. But, I don't know, maybe... I don't know. Maybe that would be better to wait. Anything else that was like, yeah, this is goated. This one gives trample. This just goes in the deck. I mean, I think that's kind of insane. Let's just go through and find anything that makes me feel like, yes, this goes in the deck for sure. I think Well Rested, because it's card draw. It gives me shit. It's really good. I'm actually really tempted to put this in. We'll come back to it. I think this definitely goes in. I'm kind of just like under the impression that anything that's ramp goes in the deck right now. Because the more mana we have, we can just pop the fuck off with playing Tayam. Because it really snowballs hard. At the beginning of combat, put a +1 counter on target creature. when he attacks while saddled, double the number of +1 counters on target creature. It's really good. Really like Orzhov Advocist. I mean, that just ramps me. Just trying to scan over, see if there's anything else that I'm just like, oh, that's really, really fucking good. Ripples of Undeath. I mean, this is an insane card. The beginning of your pre-combat main phase. So it's not the turn you play it. But after you play it, your pre-combat main phase, you mill 3 cards. Then you can pay 1 and 3 life. If you do put a card from among those into your hand. That's just so fucking good. That's so fucking good. That goes in the deck. Aftermath Anna's actually really good. Because it enters, you mill 3, and then you pay 4 and you just get all the lands from your grave. You know, I don't see why you wouldn't want to do that. You know. Beginning of combat, so the turn of this comes in, you can do this. You mill a card, and if there are 4 more creatures in your grave, put a +1 counter on target creature control and it gets Death Touch. It's okay. Okay, let's look at some of the ramp stuff. So we've got Aftermath Analyst, so I said was really good. Whenever one or more creatures leave your grave, you get a token. Then tokens can tap for a mana of any color. Marwyn probably, we can try that out. Basically, I want to try just getting tons of fucking mana. So that's usually pretty good. It's hard to beat having tons of fucking mana. Do we need more sacrifice outlets? Maybe. So I really liked what this could do. Let me think of how much it takes. Like, is this good outside of comboing with it? So when a +1 counter is put on a permanent I control, I can pay 1. If I do, I get a token. That's pretty good on its own, I would think. Because generally, you're going to be putting +1 counters on stuff a lot. And then, we're going to say, okay, well, if we have Ashnod's Altar, so it's Ashnod's Altar, this card, and then, you know, Good Fortune Unicorn, right? Or any of its variants. Now, we sacrifice the creature. Creature enters, put +1 counter, sacrifice it, pay 1. I think that's really good. Even outside of a token deck, I think the effect is good, so. But I'm actually kind of excited to make a token version. So there's so much stuff that I'm like, damn, this is actually really nice. Is this worth it in this deck? Maybe. But chance. God, now I'm at 123 fucking cards. Oh, God. Okay, this is where it gets hard. What comes out? So... what comes out? I think the first thing we look at is the recursion stuff. I don't think we need this. I don't think we need... because that's gonna... because it's the same cost as trying to get it back with, you know, Tayam. Now, these ones that are cheaper than Tayam, I think, are pretty good. They also don't require you to have any tokens or to have Tayam on the field, so I think all of that's pretty good to have. The question is, do we need this many? You know. And then Victimize, obviously, is nice, because, yeah. I think we're good there. Removal, I kind of want to say Night of Autumn goes, because we keep all of our instant removal. I mean, this is a board wipe, but it can also be removal. But we keep our instant removal, that's cheap and effective, and then Abzan Charm, that also doubles as some card draw, so that can do. Sacrifice outlets. So obviously Ashnod's, you know, cracked in this deck. These guys get +1 counters. This guy gets +1 counter only if something else dies. So I think maybe we drop Yahenni. We drop the Hennessy. With so many tap effects, I think having 1,000-Year Elixir and Tyvar are both really good. So if we look at tutors, and we just drop Grim Tutor, because I mean we need space in the deck. Ochre Jelly. You know, we know this is going to be something good because it's going to create a lot of tokens. But it does have to get around the table. Maybe this would be better in the token version. This one enters the battlefield with 3 +1 counters. That's nice. Whenever a creature you control dies, if it had a +1 counter on it, put a +1 counter on this. And dies, create a Hydra token where X is the number of +1 counters. So, I mean, he just basically replaces himself, which is good. He enters with +1 counters, which is good. But... oh... but maybe not what we want. Let's look at the ramp stuff, because we got a lot of ramp stuff now. There might be things we don't want anymore. So, Springleaf Drum, I mean, that's just good, right? It's just a 1-drop that can turn any of your creatures into Mana Dork. This one might actually go. For a long time, I thought this one was really good, but with what's happening, where things are going, it might actually get dropped. It's a little slow, and it has no like higher top end. Whereas, you know, this one, it generates however much we put on it. Same with this one. Same with this one. You know. And I'm thinking with Devoted Druid, so there are problems with Devoted Druid, especially in this deck, because we put a counter on it to untap it, so we can generate 2 mana before it dies, and then it dies, and we put in 1, and bring it back, and maybe it enters with some +1 counters, then we can get, I don't know. I'm tempted to actually say no for it. And replace it with like an Arcane Signet. So yeah, I think right now we have maybe too much ramp. I'm gonna be real with you, Spore Frog. Maybe put him back in the considering for now. I love Spore Frog in this deck, but we need to trim a lot of stuff. So this guy, he has to attack, and he has to have +1 counters on him. There's a lot of stuff this guy has to do to ramp you. But if he gets to do it, it's strong. I'll put him in considering still. So let's rate these on how hard they are to get online, right? I think Devoted Druid. I mean, even if you just play it for 2, and you wait, and you do the stuff, and it dies, and it comes back, and it dies. Gyre Sage, right? Any amount of +1 counters on it, you're gonna get more. This one, you're gonna get more. This one, you're gonna get more. They're all gonna give you more. So I think there is also the case that while these 2 are good, they are 3 mana. But they're usable the turn it comes out. So I think maybe drop Marwyn, because she doesn't have Vigilance like this one. And this one gets never another human. I mean, I probably have more elves than humans. I mean, all my dorks are elves. This is an elf. Human. 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 Vampire. Dog. It's not a fucking dog. What? Okay, human. I mean, I kind of actually have a lot of elves and humans. Human. Trying not to double count. Human, elf. I don't know. Maybe they're both good. I don't fucking know. And this one, I mean, this is just good, and then it gives all my creatures with counters on them ward 1. It's pretty insane. I'm actually thinking that we drop this guy. As far as draw goes, I think I'm okay with what we've got here. 10 pieces. Still gotta get rid of 14 fucking cards, though. Weaponcraft, he's goated. This is goated. This is really good. This is really good. I thought I sent you back. I'm just trying to look through and be like, hey, what is something that can go? I think maybe Botanical Brawler. Here's non-token creature. Choose a creature, please. So when one creature enters, choose a creature with the least toughness among creatures I control, and put a +1 counter on it. It has to be a non-token. This one says a non-Hydra. Technically, he's better than an Offensa. And it's only going to target my weakest creature. This one puts it on himself. And I can play him and make him bigger immediately. So like if he's the only thing I've got in my hand, I can pump him. I'm going to say he goes. Because I'm not trying to sacrifice a bunch of stuff. Because while we do have, you know, outlets and stuff, I say we only keep one of these. And we only keep Carrion Feeder. Then again, this guy can block. Because my idea is like, I don't need to go super hard. We'll like, we have these combos we can do. Right? But then we just use our tutors or mill to get to them. If they get exiled, they get exiled. Meow meow. I want to do that. I'm just going to keep Ashnod's Altar. That's the only one I'm going to keep. Though, I'm kind of tempted to put Altar of Dementia back in. I think I want Altar of Dementia back. This guy's good. Replaces himself. If I sacrifice a big creature, if I sacrifice a creature and get bigger, I think it'd be better in a token version because when we're doing more sacrifice stuff, the replacement would be more impactful. Reanimate. Does this even need to be in here? I don't think so. Luris is really good. I mean, this is going to give us 2 creatures out of the grave. I think that's pretty good. This has cycling, which is nice. I think Earth is actually better in this deck than Reanimate just because it has cycling. And everything that we would reanimate is already 3 or less, so it's actually a better card in this instance. I'm just trying to think of how much recursion we actually want. So I don't think we need that much. Because we're using our commander for the recursion. So I think we drop Animate Dead. I'm going to drop the Putrid Goblin. Actually, no. No, I'll keep the Putrid Goblin. I think we definitely keep Putrid Goblin. Because Persist is really good in this deck. It just means the creature basically can't die. It just brings itself back every time. Even if we're not comboing with it, that's still a good effect. And so we'll keep our efficient reanimates. We'll keep Luris. And we'll keep Victimize. Victimize is also pretty efficient. You just sacrifice 1 creature, get 2 back. So now we're down to having to trim 7. I'm good with all of that. I think. So I think now we're really just looking at the ramp package, because the ramp package is pretty fucking large. Which is fine. and also just things that give us counters. So hardened scales, I mean, look, it's really good. Is there anything on this list that catches my eye? In terms of being something that I wouldn't really, that'd be okay getting rid of. Let's look at our ramp. I think we need to just drop maybe some of the high-end stuff. So, Distributor of the World Tree is good because it's, wait, this isn't ramp. Why is this on ramp? A creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card, or put 2+1 counters. That's not ramp. Okay, fix that. So this comes in and works. This just comes in and works. This kind of comes in and works. And then these three take a minute. Well, the Kami is really good because it's going to give a +1 counter to everything that's already gaining a +1 counter. So that's always good. And these are going to buff themselves. And this one has Vigilance. So I think of any of these, we would take Marwyn out. She doesn't have Vigilance. I mean, that's really the only reason. Biophagus is giving us counters on creatures we cast with it. That's huge. This one is really easy to start generating a lot of mana with. And I mean, this guy just has a lot of potential to pop off. I mean, we could drop the Cathar Commando. Could also drop this. Though, I mean, it's 3 mana to be a card that is instant, exiles a creature, draws 2 cards, or puts 2... I mean, it just does everything we'd want in the deck, so I don't imagine getting rid of it. I suppose I could get rid of Defense Grid. Then Orzhov Advocist. At the beginning of each player, beginning of your upkeep, so it doesn't do anything when it comes in. And on my next upkeep, people can buff their creatures. If they do, then they can't attack me until my next turn. I mean, we're really getting tight in the deck, right? And it doesn't do anything when it comes in. So, it's going to go to considering. You got to be harsh on some of this stuff, right? You want every card to be impactful when it comes in. Micaeus might be an exception, though, because his effect is every creature gets a +1 counter. And he can put counters on himself. So. But I'm going to say he goes to considering. Okay, we're getting close. 3 cards to go. I'm going to be real with you. I might take out Necropotence. It's a big hate card. Then again, I mean, it's 3 black, right? Black, black, black. And then we have a green, green, green. So, I'm not sure. So many decisions. I guess technically what we could do... No, it doesn't work. Never mind. To get rid of Victimize... Get rid of Victimize. 2 creatures, or 2 cards, rather. So what does this do again? So at the beginning of combat, put a +1 counter on a creature. So turn it comes in. He doesn't have haste. But when he attacks, while saddled, I double the number of +1 counters on the creature. So... Usually... It'd be really dope if saddled gave him haste. But because he doesn't have haste, I'm going to bring him out. Just 1 card left to drop. Oh, the decisions. Oh, the decisions. Let's look at ramp again. Maybe get rid of Springleaf. Get rid of Springleaf. Okay. There we are. 100 cards. Play test it. Not great. Try it though. That's an L. That's playable. Okay. So I guess we'll just tutor. So what do we get? Probably... Honestly, Soul Ring wouldn't be that bad. Let's get New Horizons. We can't cast it yet, but it's going to be really useful when we can. So now I'm just going to do Read the Bones, because we need to scry and draw 2. Damn. This is move to bottom, move to bottom. So we're going to have to discard. Just discard Breathless Night. Actually kind of benefit from that. Wait, what the fuck? We do have green mana. Am I retarded? 1, 2, 3. New... No, we don't want to do New Horizons. We'll do Lae'zel. No. Do Incubation Druid. And then we do 1, 2 Ozolith. 1. No, because we need to have one standing. Let's do 1, 2, 3. I need a green. Now we'll do New Horizon. Put a +1 counter on it. And this will tap for 3. No, it taps for 1 more. I misread this. It's not as good as I thought. We might actually remove one of these. But now we can do say triple white. Then we do triple green. Or no, we do it in the reverse order. And that way when she hits, she'll get 2 +1s. Now, I guess we would do Tayam probably. So, do 3 green, black, white. So that would be 5, so I have 1 floating. And then 2, 3. I'll remove her counters. 1, 2, 3.